Dear students, welcome to the digital classroom of Cambrian College. This is Amitab. Hope you are all fine and doing well with the class. Unit 6 and Lesson 2 will be discussed, and the title of the Unit 6 Lesson 2 is Adolescence and Some Related Problems in Bangladesh. What are the learning outcomes we will confront while reading this text? At the end of the lessons, you will be able to comprehend adolescence and some related problems in Bangladesh, understand the causes of girls' present situation in the society, and comprehend the facts that deter early marriage. Let's have a look on some vocabularies which are given as usual in the slide. Reproduction. What's the meaning of reproduction? Relating to reproduction and contraception, the practice of preventing preventing a woman from becoming pregnant. And what's the meaning of curtail? Curtail means nullification, means reduced in extent or quality. Let's analyze the sentence which is given in the text. Adolescence is a period in life when transition from childhood to adulthood takes place and behaviors, patterns and lifestyles are shaped. This is the perfect definition of adolescence given in this passage. Whenever you are asked to write down the definition of adolescence, you will have to write down this. For good clarification, I have represented in a fragmented way. You will make a complete sentence using these fragmented phrases. Adolescence is a period in life when transition from childhood to adulthood takes place. This is a wonderful transition, and this transition happens during adolescence. From childhood to adulthood, this transition happens, and at that period behaviors and lifestyles are shaped. So this period is very much important. According to World Health Organization, WHO, adolescence is the period which shapes the future of girls' and boys' lives. This is another definition given by WHO. Whenever you are asked to write down the definition mentioned by WHO, you will have to write down this sentence. And what is the sentence? What is the definition of adolescence according to WHO? According to the World Health Organization, adolescence is a period which shapes the future of girls' and boys' lives. That means at this period, boys' and girls' lives, the future of boys and girls are shaped basically. Next, we get another information, and the information is that the information has been given in the sentence. What's the sentence? The situation of adolescent girls in Bangladesh is characterized by inequality and subordination. These two terms determine the life of an adolescent girl. Inequality and subordination. Each and every moment, an adolescent girl has to confront with these two negative terms, inequality and subordination. And they not only face in the society, but also face in their family as well. And these two negative terms determined their lifestyle. And inequality and subordination leads to violence and sexual abuse in our society. Each and every moment, girls are sexually abused and they are violated without any reason. And this sort of tendency grows up because each and every moment they face inequality and subordination. For these two negative terms, they have to each and every moment face violence and sexual abuse. That means inequality and subordination pave the way to be confronted with violence and sexual abuse. So inequality and subordination should be curtailed if we would like to ensure an empowered lifestyle of an adolescent girl. And what is the ultimate consequence of inequality and subordination? Many problems arise whenever an adolescent girl faces inequality and subordination within the family and as well as within the society. Here, for inequality, they face child marriage, marginalization. As they face inequality within the society as well as in the family, they are marginalized. And at the same time, they are completely excluded from health and education. And in a noun form, it is represented that exclusion from health and exclusion from education, as well as exclusion from economic opportunities. For facing inequality, they are very often excluded from health, education, and economic opportunities, and they are marginalized. So, one negative force gives birth to many negative entities. And for that reason, they become vulnerable to sexual abuse. And vulnerability to violence and sexual abuse is very much common, as inequality is common with an adolescent girl. So these are the negative aspects that an adolescent girl faces because of inequality within the society. Adolescents with higher level of education. Adolescents with higher level of education and adolescents from more affluent families tend to marry at a later age. That means here education plays a pivotal role regarding the change of the lifestyle of an adolescence. Education and affluent families tend to marry their daughters late. So each and every moment we have to be educated, and we are to ensure education for every female student so that they can deter early marriage. However, boys become ready for marriage only after several years of adolescence and young adulthood. That means soon after their adulthood, or after passing through the stage of adolescence, a boy becomes ready to get married. But different situation is noticed regarding an adolescent girl. Effects of early marriage. In the previous slides, we say that early marriage is ultimate consequences of inequality and subordination faced by an adolescent girl within the society. And now these slides, you can get the representation of the effects of early marriage. What are the effects of early marriage and adolescent girls faces? Drop out of school, does full-time work in in-laws' house, becomes vulnerable to all forms of abuses, and becomes vulnerable to dowry-related violence. So for early marriage, they have to drop out of school. They can no longer continue school. And in their in-laws' house, they have to do full-time work, full-time domestic work. And sometimes they become vulnerable to all forms of abuse and become vulnerable to dowry-related violence. So these sorts of abuse or violence they face soon after their marriage. And finally, they are marginalized. So marginalization is very much common regarding the development of the lifestyle of an adolescent girl in our country especially. So they are marginalized, they are deprived of even all basic needs. For that reason, they face very helpless in the society, and they can raise their voice to go against this. They are too young to take the responsibility of a family. Whenever a child is married early, at an early age, so they are not capable enough to handle all the diplomatic affairs available in the in-laws' house. They are basically too young to take the responsibilities. They are unable to take the responsibilities at the tender age. It is not possible for them to handle all the responsibilities. So they become incapable of handling the family issue. For that reason, they are marginalized, deprived, and sometimes they are very much abused. And next, they are uneducated, as education is the prior factor which should be ensured for an adolescent girls if we want to get them out of this problem. So they have to get education, and we are to ensure education for them, and have no financial independence. As they are not educated, they can't involve themselves in any activities that can ensure them financial independence. So as they have no education, no financial independence, they can raise voice, they can protest against all abuses and violences. For that reason, in one term, it can be said that they are definitely vulnerable, as they are deprived of education and financial independence. So education should be ensured, and automatically financial independence can be ensured as well. And as they don't have education, they have no financial independence, they have no voice in the family. For that reason, they can take decision. Though they have capability to take decision, but they are not allowed to pass any decision, as their voices are curtailed. And what are the early marriages, causes of early marriage? We have noticed the consequences of early marriage. Now in this slide you will come across the fact of the causes of early marriage. What are the causes of early marriage? In a very clockwise, if we discuss, the point comes first is that religious misinterpretation. In a very wrong way, we try to deceive an adolescent girl with wrong religious misinterpretation, wrong religious interpretation. That means religious misinterpretation stands against the development of their lifestyle. And considering girls as burden, whenever a girl is born, she is considered burden in the family. She is not welcomed at all. Next, poverty. Because of poverty, the parents tend to marry their daughter at an early age, before reaching the stage of physical and mental maturity. And illiteracy, one is the reason. Superstitious belief, and superstitious beliefs is one of the reasons of early marriage. And fear of sexual harassment. The parents wants to avoid, to evade the fear of sexual harassment, as there is the ample opportunity of sexual harassment. So the parents always tend to save their daughter from this harassment. For that reason, the early marriage can be the only solution for them as well, to save the girls from their harassment. So out of fear of sexual harassment, they marry their daughter early. So these are the facts that are responsible for early marriage. Whenever you are asked to write down the causes of early marriage, you will have to put in a sentence. And whenever you are asked to write down any flowchart showing the causes of early marriage, you are to put this information in a box. Then, in-laws are supportive. Suppose after getting married, an adolescent girl finds that yes, the member of her in-laws are very much supportive, but nevertheless, there is every possibility of facing risks. And what are the risks? Adolescent brides run in the terms of pregnancy and childbirth. So, as soon as they are married, there is the possibility of giving birth to child, and risk appears at the time of giving birth to child. So, the risk is associated with early pregnancy, and early childbirth. So the family members are supportive, but they have there lies the possibility of facing early pregnancy, complications resulting from early pregnancy and childbirth. And there lies an important statement, information. The maternal mortality rate for adolescents is double. In our country, maternal mortality rate is double because of early marriage and early pregnancy, and because of the complications created from early pregnancy and childbirth. Then adolescent brides run the risks. What are the risks? The majority of the adolescent brides remain informed and insufficiently informed about reproductive health and contraception. Reproductive health and contraception, these two ideas are the prerequisites after post-marriage life. So as they are tender in age, they are not supposed to get these sort of information, reproductive health and contraception, but these are very much important after marriage. But because of their tender age, they don't feel urged to be informed with this information. And sometimes they are uninformed. They are not informed about reproductive health and contraception. Sometimes they are insufficiently informed. For that reason, risk gets higher. When adolescent girls are pulled out of school, what happens? We have come across the fact that because of early marriage, a girl has to drop out of school. But what are the ultimate consequences of dropping out of school? And these consequences has been discussed in this slide. What are the consequences? After getting married early, they lose mobility, they lose freedom. They have no freedom of choice. And they lose mobility. They are not allowed to be with their friends. And finally, they lost their social status. As it has been discussed earlier, that soon after their marriage, they have no choice. They are not allowed to pass their own decision. They have no financial flexibility. For that reason, they have no social status. As they have nothing to say, they are not allowed to express their own choices. For that reason, they have no social status. So soon after their marriage, they lost mobility, friends, and social status. And after losing mobility, what happens? The loss of mobility, that means the lack of mobility, curtails, nullifies economic opportunity. No economic opportunity for adolescent girls. Non-formal educational institution opportunities. Co-curricular activities are very much important to empower a woman. So empowerment is closely associated with non-formal educational institutions. So as they are completely deprived of non-formal educational opportunities, they are completely baseless. They become baseless in the society, and as they have no chance of freedom and movement, so they are completely deprived of economic opportunities and non-formal educational opportunities. Moreover, the lack information about health issues. This information has been discussed. They are deprived of, they don't know reproductive health information. They are not conscious about their health, as they have to deal with something greater. So they are completely uninformed about their health issues. To some extent, they are completely reluctant to their health issues, and consequently suffer from anemia. In one slide, it is said that they are deprived of economic opportunities, and they are not provided good food. They are deprived of, that means excluded from education and food facilities. Nutrition is completely curtailed from their life. So as they are not concerned about their health issues, it doesn't mean that they are not concerned about their health issues. They are bound to be reluctant to their health issues. For that reason, they suffer from anemia and undernourishment. Run the risks of maternal mortality. What sort of risks do they face? They run the risks of maternal morbidity and neonatal mortality before the actual childbirth. The death of infant is a concern from young mothers, as they are deprived of nutrition. They suffer from malnutrition, so there is every possibility of neonatal mortality, and the mother is very much concerned about neonatal mortality. So this sort of problem a mother has to face if she gets married earlier. The term HIV is unheard of. They are so uninformed that they don't even hear the term HIV. Adolescent fertility is higher in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, adolescent fertility is very fertile. They are very much quick at producing offsprings. This is one of the informations which are available in the text. And the situation of the adolescent girls have been discussed. Now, the situation of adolescent boys will be discussed here. Lack power to make decision about lives. They also lack power to make decision about lives. Where lies the difference? Here, the women are not allowed to pass their own decision, but here they lack the decision to, they lack power, ability to make their own decision. Here lies the difference, and they are unaware of social and health issues. These are similar points which are that goes with adolescent girls. They remain unaware of social and health issues, run the risk of being drawn into criminal activities. So by some miscreants, there is the possibility of being drawn into criminal activities. Exposed to drugs and alcohol. They are prone to be exposed to drugs and alcohol that ruins their life. So these are the problems an adolescent boy faces, and these sort of problems make an adolescent boy vulnerable. In the case of an adolescent girls, inequality and subordination make their lives vulnerable, and in that case, these sort of things make the lives of an adolescent boy vulnerable. After having a close observation on this video, you will have a good understanding on this unit, and you can easily answer to these questions. Question number 1: how will you define adolescence? The definition of adolescence has been given in this lecture. Why is adolescence important? This answer of these questions has been also discussed. What do the adolescent girls in Bangladesh usually face? What are the effects of female inequality in Bangladesh? How do wealth and education influence a girl's marriage? We have come across the fact as well. And you will confront two important flowchart which is available in this unit, and what are the flowchart? Based on your reading of the passage, make a flowchart showing the situation an adolescent girls face in Bangladesh. The situation that are faced by an adolescent girls in Bangladesh has been discussed here. You will have to put the information following the instruction of first one. And second one, the flowchart showing the pitiable condition of the adolescent bride. This is the condition of the adolescent girls, and this is the condition of the adolescent brides. What are the conditions of the adolescent brides? What sort of problem, situation an adolescent bride face in our society? Dropping out of school, one information has been given. You will have to put the rest of the informations following the first one, and each and every video I try to let you know that, there is specific rules and regulations to come up with a flowchart. These rules and regulations has been discussed in one of my video lectures. So if you have a good view on this lecture, you can come across the fact how to fill the box with required information. So these two flowchart has been represented for you for your exercise. Hope you are doing well. Thank you.